5 times Sowore predicted the future and was mocked. If Sowore were a pastor, he would have more church members than Naira bets as customers. His predictions has been so accurate that he should just begin to predict correct scores in football matches, and maybe then the prophet will be valued in his own home.
I don't need to tell you, I have great relationship with the church. I have great relationship with leaders of our churches. I just told you earlier on that I so much love them, I don't want to create another church so there won't be unhealthy competition. So how much more can you love the church more than that?
On a serious note though, Sowore is no prophet, seer, or clairvoyant. He simply has foresight, an ability which anybody can possess and use by becoming a student of history. When we learn from history, we do not repeat the same mistakes, because history does not repeat itself, but people repeat history when they fail to learn from it. Enough of me trying to sound smart, and here are 5 times Sowore accurately predicted the future.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy.
Number 1. Minimum wage. In 2018, while Sowore was campaigning for the 2019 general elections, he proposed a 100,000 Naira minimum wage and also explained how he would fund it.
Where will you get the money from? The question is that there's enough money in this country. Let me give you one example. The Minister of Petroleum Resources, State Minister for Petroleum Resources, Kachuku, revealed on national TV that he lost $60 billion to not taking royalties for certain oil companies that have been around in the business for 10 years because of a lacuna or a loophole in a law. And what we are proposing to pay workers is just $1.5 billion every year if we do it to 100,000.
At that time, minimum wage was a meager 18,500 Naira. Kingsley Moghalu thought Sowore was delusional, and so did many Nigerians.
We have done our research. It's out there on the internet. You can find how we intend to pay for it. I like Kingsley, but I'm surprised that Kingsley is not, at this time, understanding what he needs to pay workers. After having admitted that 18,000 Naira is rubbish,
you can make
then he goes on to say that he already knows what he wants to invest in.
At the end of 2018, Buhari then increased the minimum wage to 30,000 Naira. Anyways, it doesn't end there, as during the campaign for the 2023 elections, Sowore made an upgrade, proposing a living wage of 250,000 Naira rather than a minimum wage. He also gave reasons to justify this and how to fund it.
People are being paid just to remain perpetually enslaved to the workplace, as opposed to having what should be a living wage.
While making this video, the federal government has announced an increase of the minimum wage to 55,000 Naira, while the NLC and NUC demanded 100,000 Naira. Talk about being 4 years ahead of your time. Number 2, marijuana.
We have to start taking care of our weed, Igbo,
aka Indian name, aka weed, aka cannabis, but more specifically THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, the main active ingredient in marijuana. In 2018, Sowore proposed the legalization of marijuana for export, and as expected, he was antagonized and ridiculed, and even tagged marijuana president, even though Sowore claimed he has never smoked marijuana in his life.
I don't smoke weed. It is a $1 billion industry. In fact, it's going to reach $65 billion in the next year or so.
The US cannabis market was projected to hit over $50 billion by 2028, and the global market hitting over $150 billion.
South Africa has legalized weed, the US, Canada. Where else is left?
Missouri, a state in the US, just crossed the $1 billion mark in May of 2023. This is almost 5% of Nigeria's 2023 budget.
Just as I was saying that here, Ghana was also saying that it will be exporting marijuana, cannabis as they call it. South Africa legalized it through their high court. Coca-Cola is going to be infusing marijuana into their drinks.
In July of 2023, Ghana's parliament approved cannabis cultivation for industrial and medicinal purposes.
Get Ekiti State, Edo State, and Ondo State of where it is best grown to be making $4 billion a year.
Fast forward to 2019, and the Ondo State Governor, Akeredolu, began seeking for the federal government to get involved in global marijuana market. With how on point Sowore's idea have proven to be over time, I would have asked him for his weed blog, but the man has claimed to be a marijuana virgin.
I don't smoke weed.
Number 3, subsidy. Prior to the 2023 general elections, while the so-called mainstream candidates were jumping on the subsidy removal bandwagon,
no matter how long you protest, though, we are going to remove subsidy.
Subsidy, I've said it before, is organized crime. And I cannot allow it to stay a day longer.
Nigerians have now come to accept my position on the issue, of subsidy removal. But I think it is inevitable that it has to happen.
Correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. Sowore is the only candidate on record who said with his full chest that he was not going to remove subsidy, but would remove the corruption embedded in it, for the simple reason that petrol subsidy is virtually the only thing Nigerians benefit from the government.
I'm not removing fuel subsidy.
You're not?
No.
Why not?
Because the only thing that Nigerians get from the Nigerian crude is that little subsidy.
Number 4, Naira redesign. In 2022, the central bank governor, Godwin Emefiele, was the emperor in town, the king of kings and lords of lords, the doer and undoer. He held the balls of millions of Nigerians in the palm of his hands. The central bank redesigned the Naira without ensuring adequate availability of the new Naira notes, and then placed and implemented a deadline on the validity of the old notes. Now let us ignore the fact about how washed up the new Naira notes were, pun intended. But let us focus on how millions of Nigerians who were suffering went on to justify this move by the central bank because they thought it would prevent vote buying. Honestly, this has to go down as the dumbest excuse by people to justify their own suffering. In the midst of this madness, Sowore was standing his ground that Nigerians should not suffer needlessly due to the gross incompetence of the central bank.
Intellect about how to deal with these issues, to start playing around with redesign and all these very, very childish monetary policies that Nigeria has been known for recently. The value of the Naira has not reduced.
He was again antagonized and seen as an enemy of progress by many who believed they needed to suffer the cash crunch by buying their own hard-earned Naira at a higher price in order to get a free and fair election. I would include one bonus because I am generous, and that honorable mention is Buhari. Prior to the 2015 elections, Sowore warned Nigerians about Buhari via Sahara reporters and in interviews, but Nigerians saw Buhari as a messiah.
Listen, anybody who is under the illusion that APC would bring out the best government or the kind of change that you are aspiring for in 2009, even if they win, is also inherently naive. Because you already know what they are doing in their states, the APC-led states. You know, they are characteristically not different from
with attacking education in Lagos.
Exactly. I mean, Lagos has the highest school fees, tuition fees in the world, and the governor of Lagos went to the University of Benin for free.
Only to blame Sowore and accuse him of bringing Buhari to power later on, after suffering at the hands of their messiah.
Complete lie, just talk to me, I carry these people for head. Never.
But you've been campaigning for this administration.
A lie.
You've been campaigning for Buhari.
Where you show me
prove day for places where you talk, say you
make person vote for Buhari.
Say
if you show me anywhere I write for article or tweets or video or radio, say make person vote for Buhari, I owe you 200,000 naira.
But during the 2015 victory, you be also happy jubilate, say this party win.
If you see me for where I jubilate, also bring them up. Now me upload the video myself when I go headquarters of APC, where they come from, where did they announce election. All these young people come there, they say, national right with this, I carry camera for neck, they surround me. Because for 2015, now Sahara Report has been the first station or website where announced the result of the election before election come out.
And finally, at number 5, revolution. Prior to 2019, when Sowore sparked the Revolution Now national protest, the word revolution and protest were seen as a taboo and a violent overthrow of the government. Along came Sowore declaring a revolution.
And we are heading back to prepare for Revolution Now rally on Monday. We are happy to inform Nigerians that over 20 cities across the country are signed up for Revolution Now.
It was adopted and charged for treason by the federal government. His passport seized. He was in detention for 5 months, and until the making of this video, still restricted from traveling out of the country. All these because he used the word revolution. Revolution became the most googled word on August 3rd, the day the DSS abducted Sowore, the day the Revolution Now protest commenced. Sowore was then seen as troublesome and doing too much by many. However, barely a year later, Nigerians organized to bet the End SARS protest, the biggest protest in Nigeria in recent history. It is of no surprise that Sowore is also one of the persons who ignited the End SARS protest. This is it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next one.
But the revolution will recall every goddamn senator, president, chief justice, governors, everybody will be recalled at once.